Hey everyone, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Ryan, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to create like a review management system on your website. So to kind of explain what I'm talking about here in today's video is if they select the 5-star option, it takes them to a box where they can either maybe leave a review on your Yelp or your Google reviews or any external service where you might want your good reviews to be. However, if they don't choose 5 stars, it will then take them to a form where maybe they can leave some feedback to you and it won't go public. Now, I will say I am a little bit morally conflicted about releasing a tutorial like this because I wouldn't want a company to just have bad service or bad products and do something like this and not have any plans for improving their product or service, and they're just wanting to stop the bad reviews. So I don't really like the idea of that. But let's just say, for example, that you purchase a restaurant that's already established and maybe they don't have the best menu or best staff and they have low reviews. Well, let's say you bought that restaurant and you create a new menu, hire new staff, and you're trying to improve the reviews, then this might be a good technique for doing so. Now, I will also note though, that this does not prevent people from going straight to Google or straight to your third-party review system and leaving reviews there. This is simply just going to stop people from leaving bad reviews if they're already on your website. Okay, so it's not a one-all fix-all type solution, but it is kind of a way for you to try and boost your third-party reviews. And if it's a bad review, maybe you can use it for some self-reflection or something, but at least it's not going public. But again, I don't know how I feel about making this video, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So here I am inside of the Wix Studio Editor, and what I want to do first is go ahead and create a brand new page. And for this, I'm going to name it Leave a Review. Perfect. And while I'm on the subject of the page, I want to go ahead and link this button to the page just so I don't forget to do it later. But as for the page design, what we're going to want to do is go over to Add. We'll go to Multi-State Box, and we're going to add a multi-state box to the page. Now, if you're not aware of what multi-state boxes are, they're a box with multiple states. So if I go to manage states, you can see if I go ahead and click box 2, you can see it's a different design than box 3. So that's kind of the general idea. And what I want to do here is just go ahead and delete this box here, or the state, because we can add our own state in just a second. But what I want to do for this specific state is I want to add, let's say, a title that says something like, "What would you rate us?" with a question mark. And then we would maybe design this, and I'd maybe lower the size of the font to like 32, make sure it's centered, and center it inside of the box here as well. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and create something with like 5 little stars in it. So what I want to do is go ahead and add this little container here. And with this container, what I want to do is apply a CSS grid over here on the bottom right in the inspector panel. And for this, I'm going to go down to Other, and we're going to add 5 columns. And these 5 columns are going to be like little stars. But with this grid, I do want to add like maybe like a 6-pixel gap. I think that will look pretty good. Perfect. And then what I want to do is go ahead and add a shape. And with this shape, I'm going to change this to a star. Oops, I said start. I want to do star. And what we're going to look for a star that looks like this. Okay. And what I'm going to do is come over here to responsive behavior, set this to fixed. And I'm going to set this to be like 32 in size. I'm going to add this over here. Before I do that, I might add it into a container first. And then this container, I might also set it to a fixed size. Okay. And then I'll move this container inside of this container. And with this container selected, we'll go ahead and center it inside of its grid cell. And then let's go ahead and grab the shape inside of it. Let's center it. We're also going to duplicate this one. And we're going to change the shape to a more filled in star. And if we want to, we can even change the color. Let's choose like a yellow color, just so it's a little more obvious. Maybe slightly orange. I think that'll do. Okay. And then what we're going to do is center this inside of the box as well. But what we're going to do with this yellow shape is we're going to come down to adjust. We're going to set the opacity to 0. Okay. And what we're going to do is grab this container that it's sitting in. We're going to hover over animation and effects. We're going to say hover. And on hover, we're going to create a custom hover effect. And all we want to do is we want to grab the star shape that is currently has an opacity of 0. And we want to set this to 100. And just for fun, or not for fun, but just for ease, we're going to set the animation timing for both the initial state and the animation state to 0. So basically what that just did is if I go ahead and preview really quickly, you can see as I hover over it what it's going to do. You can choose different stars that maybe have like a little bit nicer of an edge here, or you could even potentially hide the one in the background, but I just want to keep it kind of simple for today's video because this video might in itself be a little bit longer than normal. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and duplicate this container. And with this container, I want this to be in the second grid cell here. And we'll center it. Then we'll duplicate it again. And this container is going to be in the third column. And centered. And we'll do this 2 more times, moving each one of these to the next column in the grid cell. And once we are done with that, what I want to do is go ahead and grab this container. I want to scroll up to the top, and under size, I want to go into the advanced settings. Make sure that the width is set to max content. Remove the minimum width. And then I also want to come down to row and set this to minimum content as well. And then under design, let's go ahead and remove the background color. But if I go ahead and press preview, there's going to be a big problem that you're going to notice. If I hover over 2, 3, 4, or 5, that these other ones are not lit up with it. So for example, if I hover over 3, I might want 2 and 1 to also have their stars. And if I hover over 5, I might want the stars for the first 4 stars to be visible as well. So to do something like that, what we're going to do is, and we'll start with number 5 here. So we'll grab this container, and if we go over to animation and effects, you can see this is the one with the hover animation on it. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to add another animation. Now we can't do it to itself, so we want to do it to another container here. And as I'm hovering over these, if you look over here on the artboard, you're going to see they're kind of highlighting the other containers. So what I'm going to do is select number 4, and I'm going to select the custom animation that we applied to it. Perfect. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add another animation. This time, let's select star number 3, custom animation, and we'll add the hover animation. Perfect. Add another animation, and we'll select star number 2, custom, and we'll select the custom animation we made. And last but not least, we'll select star number 1 and select our custom animation here. Okay, so now if I go ahead and show you, when I select on all the other ones, it doesn't work. But if we hover over 5, you can see how all the other 4 show up as well. So now what we need to do is go ahead and do the same thing for the other stars. And I just finished with star number 2, but we obviously don't need to do it for star number 1 because there's nothing after the 1. But to show you that it's kind of working, if I hover over 5, all 5 stars show. If I hover over 4, the first 4 stars show. If I hover over 3, the first 3 stars show, 2, and 1. Just like that. Very, very nice and easy. But now what I want to do is go ahead and grab this container, And I'm going to move this into our multi-state box and put this right underneath what would you rate us. And I'm going to grab the text, stack these together. And just for fun, let's go ahead and center these inside of this state box. So now what we need to do is create a couple different states. We need a state for if they select a 5-star, and then we need a state for if they select 4, 3, 2, or 1. So what we're going to do is using the breadcrumbs on this multi-state box, we're going to go back to the multi-state box element, press manage states, and I'm going to add a new state. For this one, all I want to do is go ahead and add a text box, and we'll put some text in it. Obviously you maybe don't want this text, but we're going to center it. I'm going to expand it a little bit. And I'm going to grab this button up here, this design, paste it in here. And let's say you're a restaurant, so maybe you have a Yelp. So we're going to say Yelp reviews. And then maybe you have like a Google review place as well. So I'm going to duplicate this button. Change the text to say Google reviews. And what I want to do is just grab these buttons, kind of just stack them together horizontally. Then we'll put it right underneath the text, and then we'll grab the text using the shift key. So we have all of these items selected, stack these together, and then we'll just simply align the stack to the center inside of this box. Great. Now what we want to do is go back to the multi-state box, and now we want to create a brand new state. And this one, so what we're going to do for this state is we just want to simply add a form. So what we're going to do is go to add, contact, and forms. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a brand new form. Okay. And with this form, I'm just going to stretch it inside of this box. And with this form, all I want to do is make sure it is inside of our multi-state box here. Then we're going to stretch it, and under the settings, let's go ahead and create a form really quickly. So what we're going to need is their name. Let's say with their email, just in case we need to get in touch with them, maybe even their phone number. And then let's add maybe like a long answer, like, or we can say it is your review. And maybe another one that says something like, how can we improve? And then at the very top, just because I don't want to do it in the editor, I'm just going to add a simple heading that says, let us know how we did. And we'll go ahead and press save. Okay. And if we go ahead and exit out, this should be our form. And if we go back to the container and apply a CSS grid and go to rows, we can set this from 1FR to minimum content. And then if we go back to the multi-state box, we can even add like 10% to the top and bottom, just like that. So now if I go back to the multi-state box, go to manage states. So now we have all of our states complete, right? So we have the first state where they can actually choose the review, choose what star that they want. Then they have another one. We might want to send them to our Google or Yelp reviews so that those can be a little bit boosted. Or we can have them send us basically a private note if they don't want to give us a 5-star rating. But how do we change between boxes, right? So what we need to do is we need to come over here to the coding panel and initiate coding. Okay. And what we're going to do here on this page is the first thing we want to do is we want to grab each one of our stars. And I'm going to call this one 1 star. Then I'm going to grab the yellow star from the second one. And we'll call this one 2 star. And you kind of get the idea. I'm going to call this one 3 star. And then we'll name this one 4 star and 5 star. And also the last thing we need to do is we need to go to the multi-state box, manage states. And now that we're in the coding panel, let's go ahead and give our boxes a name. So what I'm going to do is right click or click on the three dots, press edit ID. I'm just going to call this one initial review selection. Okay, for this one, we'll say 5-star rating box. Okay, and we'll call this one, just for ease, other rating box. Okay, so when we're on the initial state, which is the default state, what we want to do is if 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, or 4-star is chosen, we want to go to the other rating box. So what I'm going to do is inside of our coding panel down here for this specific page, what we're going to do is we're going to grab this 1-star option here, and we're going to scroll down to event handlers, and we're going to say on click, we want something to happen. And what we want to happen is we want to grab our multi-state box. So if we come over here, grab our multi-state box, we can see its name is multi-state box 1. So we're going to say $W, type in multi-state box 1. And I want to say dot change state. And with parentheses, I then want to add some quotation marks, and then I want to change the name of the box. So if we go to manage states, we can see that we change it to other rating box. So that's what we want to put in here. We want to say other rating box. Okay. So just to check it to see if it's working, if we go ahead and preview the website and wait for the preview to load, if I go ahead and click 1-star, it's going to take us to the form, which is exactly what we wanted. Now I'm going to go ahead and just copy this middle code right here, and I'm going to go down a couple lines, because then I want to grab 2-star and add an on-click event and paste in that code that I just copied, because everything other than the 5-star review is going to go to this same box, right? Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the 3-star and add an on-click event, paste in the code. Then I'm going to grab, and then last but not least, I'll grab 4-star and add in that code. Now for the 5th-star, we're going to again do an on-click event, and I can go ahead and paste in that code so I don't have to retype it out, but we don't want to go to the same box. We want to go to a different box, and to find out what we name that box, we can go to the multi-state box, manage states, and we can see we named it 5-star rating box. So what we're going to do is say 5-star rating box. So now 1 through 4 should take us to the form, and then 5 should take us to the box that has the Yelp and Google reviews. And although this is not the prettiest design I've ever made, the concept here has been built, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I will also say that it might be a good idea if they leave a bad review, or for 1 through 4 stars or whatever, maybe after they submit that form, we can create an automation in the back end of Wix to maybe send them a little coupon or something, just as a customer recovery type discount, right? So for example, maybe you want to offer like a 10% discount on the next order or something like that, right? But I will go ahead and leave that up to you if you want to do that, or if you're interested in learning how to use automations like that, then let me know in the comments below. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you all did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel for more Wix Studio content coming out really soon. Thank you all again, and I will see you on the next one.